I love Carignan because it's a red wine that you can sip and immediately be like, oh, there's some red fruit there. There's also some earth. And then it kind of leaves you a little bit questioning what exactly is going on. So it's a wine that invites you to taste it again and again. It can be complex, it can be light and juicy, it can be very age-worthy, and then it can also be kind of like funky, crazy, and earthy. I love it just to enjoy it on its own and explore, but also to pair it with a bit more challenging dishes with mini components that can reflect also the fun kind of complexity of the grape. Let's get Vinnocuous. Well, when presented with the question of let's feature a grape, I think it's the first thing to come to mind. I always like to highlight the underdogs out there, to highlight things that maybe you wouldn't pick up off the shelf, especially as we lean more into it in the food pairing world. For a long time, it was one of the most widely planted grapes in southern France, and then it just kind of fell out of favor for more popular varietals like Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, and Grenache, but it managed to hold on in some very sturdy sites across the world. So now you have Carignan in Spain, France, a little bit in Italy, and then also some incredible sites in California. Carignan as a grape, for me, has always been this perfect harmony of fruit and dirt. So earthy and very fresh and fruity at the same time. To me, in its food comparison, is almost like a beet. Always provides this very almost candied fruitiness to it, while also tasting like you just pulled it out of the ground. And in wine, I think that's perfect. Typically, Carignan has very thick skins, tannins, lots of acidity, lots of color. So there's always a lot going on. And in that respect, it has been hard to work with in trying to find a balance. For many years, it's always just been a blending partner. Less and less you see it just on its own. You'll find it blended with Garnacha in Spain, also Grenache and Mourvedre in France, and then in tiny amounts in other regions all over the world. Something that Carignan loves is really hot weather, really dry conditions, really well-drained soils as well. I think some of the most exciting Carignan now left for us to work with these days are old vine Carignan, which you can find in bush vines, typically in clay, gravelly loam soils, in very arid coastal regions. My name is Jane. We are currently in Margaux, which is on South Pearl. I curate the wine list for Margaux. A couple of wines by the glass, and then a big focus on pairing menu wines, which sometimes change weekly, every other week. We always try and keep it very interesting, very fresh. Margaux is a little bit newer to the scene as far as its own restaurant. We were pop-up for 2 years, and we worked with a good bit of Carignan in our past for our menu pairings. One more thing about Carignan is that it's got a great respect in the world of organic viticulture, mainly because its actual vines are so tough that it makes it almost impossible to machine harvest. It has broken many tractors, many machines in its past. And so oftentimes when you do have Carignan, not only can it be old vine coming from historic sites that survived the kind of mass ripping out of the grape, but also typically these sites have been farmed organically for a very long time and meticulously hand harvested when it comes time to take the grapes in for fermentation. So we can start with this beautiful label, Old Vine Carignan from Les Lunes Winery. I've had the pleasure of working with Les Lunes for a few years now, in both distribution scene and also using it at Margaux for our pairings. Les Lunes is out of California. They make wine out of the Bay Area and source from different historic sites around Mendocino, Sonoma, and Central Coast. This is their Venturi Vineyard Carignan. The Venturi Vineyard was planted in 1947. These vines are pretty old at this point. They all grow on beautiful gravelly soils, bush-trained vines, and Les Lunes brings a little bit more freshness to it by using some whole cluster fermentation. So this Carignan is immediately the style where I smell it and I smell beets. I also smell ketchup, just a little weird to say, but in a nice way. There's a little bit of saltiness to it, but beautiful red concentrated cherry fruit notes. We've paired this wine with steak dishes, anything with root vegetables, also anything that's like a little irony, a little bloody. This wine also shows the awesome balance of the acidity and the grip playing nicely with each other. So for such a wine that can be very rustic, very intense and concentrated, it does have a lot of acidity to back it up. Next, we'll move to some French Carignan. So this comes from Cypres. It's a producer out of Corbière, France, which is in the Languedoc-Roussillon. So this is a little closer to home for the grape, since the grape probably came from northern Spain, where right here where it started to kind of take root, literally, and find its home in kind of the dry Mediterranean, very hot climate of northern Spain, southern France. This definitely shows that. So Cypres is an organic biodynamic producer. Definitely are hand harvesting this grape, fermenting it with its native yeast and not adding any additions after fermentation and bottling. So this one shows a little bit more of a kind of funky, earthy side of Carignan. Smells like dirt, but in a great way. And also kind of like a raspberry balsamic, but still very fresh, very mineral. I think something to note too about all of these wines is that they are old vine. So the grape does check itself, I think, with age, just like humans. It's learned a little bit more in its youth. It can be very, very robust with its production and kind of overproduce to make very uninteresting wines. So with a little bit of age, of which this is coming from 60-year-old vines, you have a bit more finesse behind it. I think the old world example of Carignans show a little bit more restraint, a little bit more minerality. So you could pair this with your classic protein-forward dishes, or this would be beautiful with cheeses or anything with kind of like a richer sauce. The acidity on this, the tannin, will cut through anything with a bit more fat and creaminess to it. And then we have Desire Lines, Evangelo Vineyard, a blend, but 90% Carignan and just a touch of Mourvedre. So back to California here, but a bit further south in Contra Costa. Evangelo is one of the most historic vineyard sites in California. It was planted in 1890, which is crazy. And since its inception, it has been farmed responsibly. And so vine health, vine age, soil health, all of it is just beautiful, shining. So this is just their red that they make each vintage, focusing on the old vine Carignan. This one for me always shows a little bit more ripe fruit character, showing off its kind of New World style. It also, I think, compared to the other two, has this gorgeous magenta color. This is just a beautiful red that anyone can enjoy. You have no idea what Carignan is, don't care, doesn't matter. You can sip this wine and just enjoy it as an easygoing, medium-bodied red. Or if you're a bit more familiar with wine, this one might kind of strike you a little differently in the fact that it's very silky, very smooth, but has the perfect amount of earthiness as well. Again, lots of food applications. This may be a little bit more casual cuisine. The history behind this, not casual, it's very cool, but this would be a fantastic burger wine. This would also be great with pizza night or kind of like a rich pasta, bolognese. Also had this recently with chili. So any kind of like spicy, red pepper forward stew, perfect. Whatever emotion I'm feeling that week or whatever I am inspired by. And sometimes it flips between being inspired by food first or wine first. With Carignan, they can all be different, so it kind of maybe depends on which Carignan I've tried recently. I'm like, oh, this would be cool with these type of flavors. Or Justin will just send me a menu, or I'll take a bite when I'm here doing inventory, and I will immediately think of everything I want in a wine with that food and try and find that. A lot of times it's just wonderful happy accidents of having the same palate preference as your chef. The Les Lunes Carignan we have worked with at Margot before. Justin loves Australian Wagyu as one of our final protein courses. And I do remember we paired this with a piece of perfectly cooked Australian Wagyu with root vegetables and then kind of like this savory demi-glace. So this paired perfectly with the kind of irony notes you get from Wagyu, but also the fat, and then of course the root vegetables, and then was bright enough to really bring out the kind of like tangy acidity in the demi-glace. It was delicious. I will always be around to spread the word of Carignan for anyone who's interested to try it, of course, from historic sites in California, because that's what I'm most excited about recently, but also seeking out the small producers that are starting to realize the quality of varietal Carignan. And then I'm a huge fan of Spanish Carignan from Priorat, specifically wines with age. So if you ever get the chance to have kind of an early 2000s Carignan that's starting to like get a little brown in color, little coffee notes, the ageability of this grape is fantastic.